Thank you for joining me today at the A93 running between Perth and Braemar, which cuts through some of the finest mountain country in Scotland. This is the starting point for today's walk, an Ascent of An Socach, a long undulating ridge Munros which stands proud above the Baddoch Glen. With the car parked and the hill in sight, it's time to get boots on the ground. The walk begins gently, following a rough estate track alongside the Baddoch Burn. It's an atmospheric glen, quiet, remote and typical of the Cairngorm National Park. Early on I'm looking out for the point where the path turns uphill, and after that the need to find a decent place to cross the burn. Well, good morning. Thank you for joining me. I should say maybe good lunchtime, because actually it's taken a wee while to get here. I'm in a Glen Clunie off the A93 road from Perth to Braemar to do a Munro that's maybe not the most exciting hill, but nevertheless it's lovely walk in on this lovely Land Rover track here alongside the Baddoch Burn. The weather forecast this morning when I left home was to be quite bright and sunny in the morning towards about lunchtime, and then to cloud down a bit, possibly with a cloud base about 600 metres, and that would cause a bit of a problem because apparently this hill there are two tops to it, and the one that you come to first isn't the true summit, but it's got a nice big cairn on it, so we'll need to watch out for that. But the way things are looking just now, the visibility is pretty good, so hopefully it will be fine all day. But I've brought the waterproofs just in case, as there was also a threat of showers. But the next thing I need to find is where this track that I've been walking along reaches a ford, because it's just before that the turn to go up the hill starts. So I'll crack on just now and bring you back in a wee while. Okay, I've found the path that goes up the hill. It's just here by this sign here for the Invercalled estate, and don't be tempted to cross the ford here, because this is the way up. To be honest, you could actually cycle this far if you wanted to, but this is the point where we head uphill, so let's crack on. The path so far up from the burn's been a bit boggy, but fairly easy to follow once you cross the burn. Wee steep bit to start with, and then fairly steady rising. It's quite obvious that it's going up to a top just in front of me, which I'll spin you around and show you in a second. And on the map it seems to be called Socach Moor, with the first top of An Socach behind it. But as I said earlier, that's not the true summit. The weather has started to slide a little bit, a wee bit more overcast, less bright, and there's a bit of rain, very light rain starting to come down too, so I'm hoping it's going to stay good. But I'll just spin you around and show you what I'm looking at. So this little top up here with a cairn on it, I don't know if you can see that, is Socach Moor. And then the first top of An Socach proper is in the background. You can see the path meandering on up there. I'll just try and zoom in to show you that. So that's where I'm headed. I'll maybe see if I can get some drone footage as well, just to show you the route, but I'll go up a bit higher first of all and get past this boggy stuff. From here the going gets a wee bit tougher. The gradient steepens across rough, often boggy ground. A short push brings me to a windswept cairn at Socach Moor, a perfect place to pause, take stock and layer up. It's one of those typical Scottish days. A shifting sky, a cool breeze and the ever-present threat of rain. Okay, I've just stopped to put on some layers here because it is getting a bit windier now, and in actual fact the weather's still looking a bit less promising than it was earlier. So what I'm going to do is just get a quick bite to eat and then put the camera away and get up this steep bit here. I'll show you some drone footage of it, but once we get up to the top of that it should be a fairly straight run out to the second, or true summit I should say, and hopefully that won't take too long. From Socach Moor the route kicks up steeper ground. This shoulder leads to the first top of An Socach, which, despite its height, isn't quite the true summit. I'll just give you a quick view before getting to the top of this first steep bit onto the plateau. Directly opposite here is the cairn well, which is just about to disappear behind the clouds over yonder, and to the left of that is Carna Oast, another one of the mountains behind the Glen Clunie ski centre. And the alternative route up this hill today, An Socach, is to come over to the col or the Baddoch there between the two, and then come to what from this view would be the left hand side of the loch, but from the other side it would be the right hand side, and down into the valley between here and then up onto the shoulder that I've just come up. So that's an alternative route, but I've never done it, and having looked across there it doesn't look like a very clear path or you know, the same easy going as this one is. So I'm not sure if anyone else has done it that way. I think on the map it's slightly shorter by 1 or 2 kilometres, but to be honest I'd rather walk on a path than go that way. But in any case, having just come from this valley away down there, I'm not far now from the top of the plateau, and looking north you can see, as always, the Cairngorms covered in clouds. Okay, hi folks. This is not the summit, but thankfully it's clear enough to see just about where the summit is. I'll spin you around and show you that in a minute. This is the first cairn that you come to, which isn't An Socach's top, as I say, but the walk from here to the summit is pretty straightforward now by the looks of it. Fairly flat, well, not entirely flat obviously, but a high level walk, and what would be good views were it not for the fact that the cloud, as predicted, has dropped, but not as low as 600 metres, which the forecast said it might, so that's a positive. I was hoping to get the drone up for you in a wee while to give you some summit views, but unfortunately that's probably not going to be possible unless this cloud clears away. So anyway, I'll get you spun around and show you where I'm going next, but yeah, time to crack on in case the cloud gets worse. The ridge from here is a fine high-level traverse. The summit lies at the far end, marked by a small cairn just beneath a curtain of drifting mist. So as you can see, the route and the path goes round this high flat-top ridge to the summit, which is just coming to view below the clouds over there. So it's getting very windy, and I'll crack on and bring you back over there, hopefully get the drone out if the cloud level stays up. Okay, let's go. It is quite windy at the moment, but the path's really good, and the temperature of the wind isn't too bad either, which is even better. I don't know if any of you find that your sinuses play up when it's cold and windy in the hills, but I certainly do. But today it's not too bad, as I say. But it's not so far now to the summit. I'll spin you around and just give you a quick look up there towards the summit. And yeah, fairly good so far. At the top, the cloud has descended, too low for a drone flight, but I take a moment to reflect on the journey, the changing weather, and the fact that I forgot my McCoys. Well, that's the summit of An Socach, which has been just over 6 miles from the car where it was parked down on the A93 past the Cairnwell Pass. So it's been quite an easy walk, as I said, quite windy now on the summit. So I don't think I'm going to linger around here too long. Might just get into the cairn for a wee bit of shelter and get a drink and something to eat before heading back. The cloud level is almost touching, maybe about 100 feet at the most above the cairn here. So I'll get a wee bite to eat first and then decide whether or not to put the drone up, because it's very, very low cloud. I should also say I forgot my McCoys today. I left them in the car. Unbelievable, what an omission. Brought my GPS, important. Brought my mobile phone, really important. But I forgot my McCoys. Extremely bad. Anyway, grubbing then out of here. Okay folks, I've decided not to put the drone up. It is now raining. The cloud is literally just above the summit here, so I'm going to clear off before the weather gets really, really bad. With the rain beginning to fall, it's time to descend. The route back retraces the same line, and soon the weather clears. That's me back down at the path, which you can see meanders down back to the track. The bank of really bad cloud that passed overhead is over there now. There's still a wee tiny spot of rain, but it's basically passed over. It's a shame because it all seemed to clear about half an hour after leaving the summit. So unfortunately I didn't manage to get the drone back up again. But anyway, I've got one banana roll left and the elusive packet of McCoys back at the car. So I'll get you back there and then I'll be getting down the road. Finally back at the car. That was just under 12 miles, about 7 hours or so altogether. A wee bit of stopping time with the camera, but I'm afraid, as I said to you earlier, I couldn't get the drone footage at the summit, but a piece of critical equipment that was left behind, a packet of salt and vinegar McCoys. So on this note, I will finish up the video here. Thank you very much if you've watched the whole thing. I hope you'll be able to join me again for another one, and if you do like it, it would be very much appreciated if you clicked on the like and subscribe button. If not, thanks for watching on this occasion, and all the best.